Okay, good morning, guys. It feels like Monday. So I just got back from Kentucky, but I know it's Tuesday, but I'm so fired up right now. This is awkward. I'll move that there later. I'm like punching down. So, okay. Last night's training, how many of you are COCs? Okay. Was that not amazing training with Brian Underwood? It was awesome. And I got to hear that on Sunday, that training. And I just took a lot of notes. And so, guys, this training is as much for me as it is for you. So, especially if you're a COC on here, the goal is that when you listen to something, you listen to it and it's going to help your business. It's going to help you be a better coach. Then your job as a player here is to hear it again and again, and then put yourself in a situation where you have to teach it. And so I've heard it twice now. And so I need to teach it because I need it to get from, my head out into application. And so I'm going to be really focused on not just teaching it on the Zoom, but when I open up, how many of you see masterminds happening everywhere and you're like, how do I lead one of those? You're scared to even throw one because you don't even know what you're going to talk about. I think these topics that I'm going to lay out today and tomorrow, I'm basically breaking that three-part series into 2 days. And I think this is absolutely something that you can train people on at a higher level. And one thing that I appreciated was, Brian Underwood said, are you ready to have a coaching call? We have to understand this is a huge difference in how you would talk to customers. And the topics that I'm going to train on tomorrow would not necessarily be something that 70% of your organization is ready for. But I also am a firm believer that you give somebody a vision, you give them what that next step in their business looks like, and maybe they get even more excited to run there. Today is about prospecting, about approaching. And I just saw it this weekend and I was like, this is something I'm so extremely passionate about because I feel like last week I sat on some calls and I heard these questions being asked that were so mechanical, sterile, handicapping. The questions that some people are asking tells me that they feel like they're trapped in a box right now on how to prospect in their business, and they're not having success with it. And you can hear that because of the questions they're asking. And as coaches, we have to understand that prospecting is multifaceted. It's not going to be you being the guru of social media. 98% of you will not be, and Katie Rollins, I'm sorry. And I tried to chase her tail yesterday. I thought I had a smoking amazing post. Really. It was my daughter in a bathtub. I laughed. It was so cute. I was like, this is so unique. I mean, Katie Rollins, she inspires me. And if I could be if I can just watch her posts every day and do 50% or 30%, as creative as I see that, then I'm adding muscle to my business. I'm adding a new place to my business. But there's some areas she can't be me. And I think sometimes we're looking at one person or who's having success in this area, and we're just sprinting to try and chase that, and it's not working, and we're taking ourselves out of the game. What ended up, I got a message from Chris Harding, and it said, you spelled "you're" wrong. And it was something like, I hate that. I'm an English literature major, and I was so proud of it. And it's not something I could just edit in the caption, right? I put that bad boy on PicMonkey. Katie Rollins, she told me the tools she used. I went in there, I PicMonkeyed it. I couldn't just take it off. Like I had to just delete the whole thing. Then the sale was over. And I was like, gosh, this is why I need help in this area, right? But I take people, I don't compare, but I look at their skill sets. And I, maybe strive to take 25% of that, 25% of that, 25% of that. But how many in here have taken yourselves out of your business because maybe you've sent 100 outbound messages? Like, can I have a real conversation with you today? Can I have that permission? Can we go there? Okay. How many of you have not been able to help somebody on social media? Or how many of you have gotten discouraged in your business because you are sending outbounds galore and all you get is crickets? Okay? So now we're being a little bit real. Okay. So are we just gonna say, well, the play that works isn't working for me? I'm done. Nobody responds on my social media? Because I feel like that's been a little bit of an emphasis. And a lot of people, I'm sensing this discouragement. If you're trying to ask, like on the calls last week, well, how do I say this? If you're asking, and I get text messages all the time, can I see a copy and paste of what you're saying to someone that's working for you? No, that's unauthentic. I am saying the play that works, but I'm building rapport with people. And I can't teach you, I am going to teach you how to build rapport. And it has to come back to you being yourself, or it's unauthentic. And people feel that. Like if you're messing around in the bodybuilding world, trying to cold market there, and you've never done bodybuilding a day in your life, and you don't know how to talk about carb timing or BCAAs or their diet or if it fits your macros or all the hundreds of things they're going to come back at you with to try and squash out your confidence because you shouldn't be approaching them because they know more than you, because that's their mentality. If that's the arena that you're playing in and you're uncomfortable with that, that's not going to work for you. And you do need to get out of your comfort zone, but let's be smart about it. Where can you build rapport the best? Where can you find common ground with people? Okay, I don't love booths anymore. I did a ton in my first year. Okay, I did a ton in my first year because when I was in college, I sold clothes and jewelry at a booth for my aunt from Guadalajara. So I was used to standing at a booth for 10 hours a day talking to people. That was probably the one of the transferable skills that I brought with me in to prove it, is that I knew how to work a booth. A ton of people saw, me start going, and they wanted me to do all this booth training. They wanted to learn how to go run a booth. I didn't go run a booth because I think it's the best way to prove it. I went and ran a booth because I know how to talk to people at a booth. And it was a skill set I had developed because I had kind of done that before. I think actually a booth is sometimes one of the biggest wastes you can do in your business, because you may stand there for 10 hours, 5 days, where if you would have done 50 outbounds, you could have sold 30. I don't know. I don't know what your business is like, but I've got to mute someone. Why do some people never mute out? Like, why can't I mute them out? Okay, I got it. All right. But here's the thing. There are many environments to prospect in. There's many environments that you can approach in. And when you leave the call today, I want to simply empower you to find something that's effective in your business, a place or an environment where you feel, I'm having a higher success rate here. I'm getting more 5 and 10 days out with this method. And let me tell you this, if you want to go far in this business, you need to learn all of them and you need to do all of them, because we can't coach what we don't know. Okay. So if I'm not awesome at sending the outbounds into a cold market, what I can do is I can say, you know what? Some people in this business are amazing, and like this is their sweet spot. I've done it a lot, and I make myself do it every day just so I can relate and coach better. But here's where my sweet spot is. I like to walk into a coffee shop 3 days a week and do this play that works. Okay, so I was on the way home from Vegas, and I was talking to a woman that is more in her 50s. Okay, and a lot of people just, in an older generation, I want to be careful how I say this, but they're more relational. They're not comfortable with the social media. I just brought in an entire new line of people 45 and over. I can hardly get them to get on the Zoom calls. I can't get them to send a cold outbound that says, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? I can't get them to log into their back office. So do those people not get to do Prove It? No, but they sure better learn how to approach and prospect every day of their life if they want to be here. And as a good coach, I got to learn how to make that line explode in the skill sets that they do have. And if they happen to bring in a 30-year-old who has a great social media presence, I can lock in with her and say, this is the play that's working on a cold outbound in your messenger. Do this 10 times a day. Okay? But let's not get stuck in a place. Listen, the outbound is the outbound. The play that works is the play that works, whether you're standing in a coffee shop, whether you're shaking up a bottle in a gym, whether you're having a Bible study, or you join a business group in your local area, or you start doing a book club, or you start going to meetups where you meet people. The play that works is the same. It always comes back to, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? Here, share the campfire video, whether you're taking their contact info and getting it there because you're doing a walk and talk, or if you're outbound messaging and you've built rapport for a couple days because that's more comfortable, or you've been on the phone with someone talking to them. Like that, watch, connect, and enroll follows the play that works every time. And we've been talking and talking and talking about it. But now we're going to get in for a minute to, I think, the place that holds everyone up in their business the most, and that's the approach. That's the prospecting and understanding how you can get out of a box maybe you've put yourself in and you've subsided to the fact that this isn't going to work for you because you're not getting anybody to talk back through a cold market on Messenger. Can we move out of that place this morning and then get on with our DMOs and have new creativity, new ideas on how to approach people? That's what I'm fired up about. All right, so tomorrow, you're making me work here on the mute button. I have a little ADD and then I get all sidetracked. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? I know you won't understand the writing, but it's good enough, right? Okay. So tomorrow we'll go over engaging and mobilizing, which is kind of a second part of your business. But today, this is phase 1 activity. And this is the thing right here that you can never stop doing, or everybody around you will stop doing it and your business will die or get stagnant. People will do half of what you do. So if you want to build a really big business, you are staying in phase 1 activity. You are relevant, you are current, you are understanding the struggles of people, and we can't begin a business until we start with the approach and the prospecting. So this has to be, I love, one of my new players said to me yesterday, you know what, I got 4 new girls, and I just got to get them engaged into the system because I know I cannot stop the phase 1 activity. I have big goals. So in her business comes first. Her oxygen mask comes first. She will not be a good leader if she does not just go to work right now in the phase 1 activity, and her team will benefit more by seeing her action, her heart, her energy, and bringing more people to the conversation than they will from her spending all the time to show them their back office, go over the comp plan, set up their codes. There are videos for that. And as a coach, you need to establish that you know what's best for these new people that just came into your business, and do not get pulled in the gutter by a brand new person. You don't cater to their questions that are not going to serve their business. I got asked last week to go sit down and open up and go over the comp plan with someone. No, there's a video for that. I will sit down and go talk about approaches. I will get on a 3-way call. I will get on a private launch call. You can connect me in Messenger all day so I can model for you. I know what my job is. I know where to take you, and will you be coachable? Okay, so I'm getting off. I'm sorry. What? I hate that word. I'm just getting distracted. Okay. Geez. Okay, must know outcome. Before you understand prospecting or coaching prospecting, you have to know what their outcome is. And in a tangible sense, the outcome needs to be unrelated to the result, okay? And if you don't understand that, go read the book, Go for No. It doesn't matter what happens. Your only job is to pique curiosity and to get them resources in hand if you can get that far. So, you know, typically my outcome is aligned with my DMO. I don't want to do 5 outbounds a day. I want to get the campfire into your hands. I want to get that out 5 times a day. And really, I'd love to get 5 or 10 days in the mail a day. So for me, it sometimes isn't necessarily about how many times I'll ask somebody, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? And this is just for me. I will go till I get what I want that day. Does that make sense? Because I feel like if I did 20 outbounds and I got nothing, I don't want to go to bed that night till I get a 5 or 10 day attached. So that's a win for me. That's a win for my hard work. And if you're settled at 3 a day and you go a full week without getting, you know, a 5 or 10 day out, I would challenge you to kind of shift your goals, because that could get discouraging after a while, or shift your environment, which I'm going to talk about. But know your outcome. You know, I want the campfire in hand, or I want to start building some rapport and a relationship with somebody through the conversations that I'm having. You can't coach them for prospecting until you know their why in this business, or you know what it is they want. You can't hold someone accountable to having an outcome with prospecting activity if you don't know what they want in this business, if you haven't been given the permission to coach. You must have a DMO. You need a goal or a target, okay? How many campfire videos do you want to get out a day? It's okay. How many cold outbound messages or warm do you want to make a day? How many mixers do you want to have in a month? How many coffee shop appointments do you want to have in a week? That line of the 50-year-olds, guess what they like to do? They like to have lunch. They like to have coffee. They like to be face-to-face. Okay, that's fine. Then what's your goal and what's your intention? Because without an outcome, without a goal, you can't measure the results. And if you can't measure the results, you can't get better at the business. So you have to define that before you go into approaching and prospecting. So the approach, let's just understand the approach. The approach is how you pique interest, okay? It's finding their common ground, all right? So the approach is how you pique interest. Whether you're standing in a coffee shop whether you're having a lunch date and you're having a conversation, you may be at a lunch date for 1 hour. The outcome in this lunch date is to find a way to approach and pique curiosity. It may be a 5-minute side conversation within an hour of talking. But if you don't have your head game on going into that lunch, you're listening. You're listening to pivot. You're conscious about your outcome. So yes, I'm meeting with an old friend for coffee for an hour. And by the way, when I meet people out, I tell them before I sit down at what time I have to go out. And I also say at a 10-minute mark, I got to leave in 10 minutes because sometimes going out for lunch or going on a coffee date is scary for me because I have to protect my time. But I meet with intention and I meet with an outcome. It's not ingenuine, but this is my business and it aligns with my personal life. So I will catch up with you. I will build a relationship with you. But my outcome is to get to a point with every person that I approach. I pique their interest, and hopefully I can get to the watch, connect, enroll phase and then close that up. Okay? So to be a great prospector, this is really what it comes down to. And it can be used in all the environments that we'll talk about. You have to have awareness in everything you do. If you're getting ready to go into the grocery store, set your outcome. I will not leave this grocery store until I have 2 conversations where I use an approach and pique some interest. Are you being intentional? Are you living in a higher state of consciousness? I will not leave that grocery store until I approach 2 people and pique their interest. Who knows? Who cares what'll happen? But could you get 2 campfire videos out before you leave that grocery store? Does that make sense? What's your outcome in everything you do all day long? You know, if you don't have time because you're a mom of 4 kids to do 20 outbound messages a day, but you said you wanted to work this business, someone's going to find a way to do it with 4 kids a day. And it will be in a way that aligns with their life. So you've got to stop making excuses and start finding a way to approach people that lines up with you. So if it's the grocery store, because I know if you have kids, you're going there about every day, right? So if it's that, then you better have an outcome when you walk in there. It's just like somebody who doesn't want to leave their house and wants to sit behind a computer screen and throw out outbounds every day. I love cold outbound marketing. I'm good at it. I love it. But there's a lot of people I can't help with it. So what are you good at? I'm good at going to the grocery store and getting around people. Awesome. What's our outcome before we leave the grocery store in that hour? Does that make sense? Don't make an excuse, make a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay? So you have to listen. If you're standing in the Starbucks line, you listen. You have to watch. If you're on social media, you have to watch for pain points. Like I said, I'm a professional stalker. I'm watching people that I think are in pain, that I think need more energy, that I think need more income. Every day, I'm at a high conscious level of listening. If you ever hang out with Stephanie Robertson, the minute she gets out of the car and the minute she gets back into her car, whatever happened in between, there's about 5 people who have her campfire video and her cell phone. I don't know how she is on, what do you know about ketones and ketosis through Messenger? But I know when she goes to bed at night and she's been out of the house that day, she probably has 10 people to follow up with. That's how she does her business, because she will talk to any freaking body. And I'm going like this, just like I watch Katie Rollins make amazing social media posts. I'm watching Stephanie Robertson talk to anybody who gets in her path. I'm watching Jim Frederickson ask the waiter if he needs more income because we just heard his son has leukemia. I watch these people who are amazing at different niches, and they don't settle for one place to do business and then resort to a fail. My girl, Madi, went to set up a booth last week. And she used to be a professional actress, and she loves engaging with people. She loves having conversations with people. She feels once she can have that personal connection, she can close 9 out of 10. Guess what? She better have a booth planned once a week if that's her skill set, if that's her sweet spot. Okay, do you understand where I'm going? It's still about being you. Be authentically you. Don't make excuses for what's not happening. Go find a way to win. Watching, hunting, feeling. I have so many people in one line that feel things. They feel people's energies. They feel if they're like struggling. Those people are my yoga people. They're my yellow people. If they're not going to yoga class every day or having coffee dates every day, their business will probably get stagnant because they feel that the text messaging is impersonal. And if they feel that way, you know, I still want them to do at least 5 a day so they can teach, train, coach it, and maybe have a success here and there. But they better just get really good at where they feel really good. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know that yet, then you've got to start practicing. I had a girl start connecting me with people. Her people weren't responding. You know what I was able to do? I was able to go coach her. I said, listen, here's what's happening. You're not edifying me. You're not stating an outcome in the connection, and everybody feels awkward. But I was so freaking proud of her because had she not risked connecting me with people, I would never have anything to coach her on. You've got to put yourself out there to learn how to do something new. So there's right there, piquing interest, approach. You have to be on the lookout, listening, watching, because you have to find a common ground. And then the approach is right here in your back office. Okay, I don't need to go over all of this because this is in your back office and it's absolutely unbelievable. We got it out this weekend. We're like, oh my gosh, this is golden. All right, so no matter what environment you're in, we are actually giving people verbiage. Go find 3 today that feel good to you and go put yourself in an environment that feels good to you and utilize it. How many times? I don't know. Whatever your DMO is, whatever your outcome is. Okay? So it's like standing in a grocery store or whatever. Do you drink energy drinks? Do you drink coffee? I'm a stater. I like to state things and see if people catch on to it. So, if I was in the line at Starbucks, the engaging idea is, have you ever heard or have you ever had coffee? Okay. I may just pop out my keto cream and turn to the person next to me and say, I'm so excited for my fat coffee. Like, I'm not even asking you for your opinion. I'm just telling you, I'm so excited for my fat coffee. And if you want to talk to me, you'll say, what's that? If you don't, fine. Awesome. I did my job. All right. It's just, you've got tons of questions here that are going to take you through things. And, a lot of times I hear people say, I'm having so much trouble getting customers into promoters. Okay. And I start with the 5 and 10 day all the time. But if I'm out and I hear that, or if I have a friend who I know is struggling financially, I look for people who need money just as hard as I look for people who need brain fog lifted at 3 o'clock. My job is to find pain points. And if your pain points is that you need more money, I heard that because I told you guys, I speak this into my life. I'm a professional prospector. I'm a professional approacher. And my level of consciousness on everyone I meet and everywhere I go is up here because it's a muscle it's a muscle you grow. It's a muscle you exercise. It's all about your level of consciousness of listening to people, finding a way you can meet their needs, and then using an approach. And the approach will always lead back to, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? Watch, connect, and roll. Okay? So let's just talk real quick about the warm markets. One is a phone call. Okay? So a lot of my 50-year-olds, phone calls, they love talking on the phone. Drives me nuts. I'm sorry. I know a lot of them are watching right now because I really said, please get on the call today. But I am not used to answering my phone when people call because I've gotten in the habit of protecting my time. And I know that whatever they need, they can Voxer me with it, and I can respond during a work block with focus, and it doesn't disrupt my stuff. So one of two things has to happen. They got to either get on Voxer, or we got to have an understanding of, I may not pick up my phone right now, but during my work block, when I'm checking my Voxers, I'll squeeze you in, but we're probably going to be short on the phone. Okay. But phone calls, these people who love phone calls, that's a warm market. Okay. You're calling someone. When we opened the gates that night to prove it 2.5 years ago or more, I called probably 30 people on the phone in my warm market. And all I was thinking about was, who needs energy? Who needs appetite suppression? Who needs lifted brain fog? That's all I was thinking about. And I didn't know anything about ketones, but we had this email that we sent out that told you about it. And so my phone call was to pique their interest because I knew their pain points and they were in my warm market. And then it was to really get them on the phone with BU. I did a ton of private business calls with BU in the first 3 months, and I really spent the first part calling warm market, telling them a little bit about, the opportunity, because at the time you couldn't even be a customer and you had to buy a $350 package because we wanted legit stories as we rolled into the marketplace and experiences and people who really wanted to champion the conversation. So I use the private business call huge when I launched my business. So when people are telling me right now, when we launch their business and they're like, yeah, I just can't get in response. I didn't even start outbounding a cold market for weeks because there were so many people that I had to pick up the phone and call and talk about this with, and then get them on the phone with Brian Underwood because I didn't know anything. I just had to pique their interest and get them on a call. So if that's more comfortable for you, call people, pique their interest, use an approach, get to the point of, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? Awesome. When we hang up this phone, I'm going to send you a campfire video. I want to mail you out a 5 or 10 day. Let me know after you watch that video what you want it to be. And then once you get it there and try it and have a great experience, I want to connect you on a phone call, to Amy Ecker, and she's just going to tell you about her experience. If you want to talk on the phone, if that's your thing, then make that work. Find a way to make it work for you and train it to others who feel comfortable with that too. Number 2, text warm market. Brian and James and I talked about this weekend. It's been a long time since I texted people in my warm market. I did a lot when I first came in, and I am so much more comfortable with outbounding. And I told them, I just feel I don't want to get in conversations with all these acquaintances. And I feel like, I'm like, hey, how are you? What's going on in your life? How's your baby? What do you know about ketones and ketosis? Like, building that rapport with a warm market feels a little bit ingenuine to me. But guess what I know about that? That's probably my own perception. Because I feel people say that stuff to me all the time, and I'm like, no, that's just what you're thinking. But you know what he said, and it kind of clicked for me. He's like, well, he's like, it seems more unauthentic to me that you would almost build that little rapport and then jump into that. He said, that's why I say, hey, as a fitness trainer, Abigail, which is all he said to me, and I was his warm market, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? Because then it was like, hey, they know what you're doing, so just cut the BS. They want you to get to the chase. Don't act like you care. You're not going to get on the phone and talk. So maybe that does really work with the warm market. Hey, as a blank, because it sure worked for me. So I need to start doing it more. But I'm just telling you, as I go through this, the thing that is the most uncomfortable to me, I'd rather get on the phone with a warm market and be intentional. Hey, I know you were struggling with energy. I wanted to call you so you could hear my voice because I didn't want to text and make this feel like a transaction, but I really want you to experience this. I would call someone. That's more comfortable to me. Texting a warm market is just a little more uncomfortable to me, and that's why I play in the cold market. But obviously that's very uncomfortable for a lot of people. But I play in the cold market a lot with the social media. Okay, walk and talk. It's really coming back to that level of consciousness, and I feel like the walk and talk is the listening part, the feeling part, the watching part, the connecting part. You're out with strangers, you're in a coffee shop, you're in the gym. Really get back to those worksheets and read through them and see what kind of conversations you can start up using some of these things. And don't overstress. Just try 2 a day. If those don't work, try another 2 a day. Like, switch it up. But the walk and talk is where you're going. It's out and about. It's wearing the conversation. Okay. Then social media. Social media is all about attraction marketing. Hi, Jocelyn. You're way better. She's way better at social media than I am. I'll tell you this, attraction marketing. I had a really tough year and a half, and I wanted to start hiding from everyone. I didn't want my face on social media. I found live videos to be very difficult for me. And you know what I know my sweet spot is? Live videos. I get lots of people watching my live videos, lots of messages. They really relate. But when you don't feel good and you're going for a hard time, probably the scariest thing to do is to be authentic and vulnerable and put yourself out there. And some days when you don't feel like getting out of bed, to hype up is hard to do. But I know that's one of my sweet spots. And so it's cool because I have all these girls I'm watching on it right now. And I just got to start shoving myself back up there. But one of my new business partners is Jocelyn, and she is amazing at social media attraction. That's our last environment. So I invited her on to just share with you just 5 minutes worth of that attraction. And I know we're running a little late, but I think this topic's huge because I feel like it's a step we're skipping. So go ahead, Jocelyn, and tell us a little bit about social media.
Okay. Hey, everybody. It's good to be on. Thank you, Abby, for all this. It's great. I'm just going to go really super fast because I know we're late. I could talk on this for hours. So I'm going to give you 3 points that will really help you in your social media attraction. So the first one is every post on social media should be one of 2 things. You want to be educating or entertaining. Every time you post, you want to be educating or entertaining. Always remember, you're using your social media to create a following and for your followers, not for yourself. I know a lot of times we get on posting social media and we're posting to make us feel good or to fulfill us or how many likes or comments we get. Always think when you're posting for this business, you are posting for your followers. What do they want to hear? What value can you give them? It's not just about, your shaker cup with your ketones or whatever. Think about something that they care about and post about that. Everyone right now, it seems, is selling something on social media. So start educating, attract people that are looking for you, and make sure that you're doing only 20% of your social media about product or business. You want to really create a space where you create followers that find you valuable in other areas, and that you don't become the prove it, poster board. One example that I kind of gave my team the other day is, let's say you're a crafter, and you have fall coming up and you like crafting your own decorations. Get on live or do a little tutorial on your page about how to create this pumpkin door hanger or whatever it is. Something about yourself that could create a following of people, and then they're going to be sharing that content and say, oh my God, look, she made this cute door hanger. And then you're going to get all these women that love, decorating their house for fall. And next thing you know, you have a ton of eyes on your stuff. And then when you make that one really juicy post about your business, now you have tons more people that are actually, one, see you as an expert in something because you taught them something. But two, now they're wondering and they're asking you, okay, well, what else does she do? What is she talking about? So that's one. Number two is raise curiosity, not resistance. People do not want to be sold a product. They want a solution to their problem, and they want to have that solution from someone that they find value in and they trust. So don't post product. Be super creative in like a photo, and then post about the benefits of that product. Do a call to action. When you're talking about your ketones or whatever, speak on benefits. Don't speak on, this is a 22% off sale today. Come get it. It's great. Speak on something that has changed in your life based off of the benefits of taking ketones. And that leads into number three, facts tell, stories sell. You must be present on your social media as a storyteller, not a fact seller. Create an authentic, reality TV show, not a sales page. In your stories, highlight benefits, what the actual product does, why someone would actually want to buy it from you, and get that space where people are wondering. Create that curiosity. Get someone to connect with the story that you're telling on why this works. So for example, like a fact story could be like, here's my ketones. It gives me great energy, 22% off today. Or a story would be like you with a picture of you and your daughter, like jump on the trampoline, like raising your hands, like you have so much energy, no product in the picture, no speaking on the product, but more you tell a story about how you have so much energy, and start the post with I remember a time when I was so fatigued coming home from work that the thought of me doing this with my daughter absolutely exhausted me. I would just want to sit on the couch and watch TV. And now I feel so much different. She sees me as this energetic mom. I'm creating memories with her. And then that goes with the picture. And then at the end, do a little call to action about that story. Are you somebody who ever feels this way? Do you need these benefits in your life? If so, reach out to me. I may have a solution for you. Never mention the product. Never, post your producty stuff on there or come across as you're trying to sell something. Literally sell with a story that someone else can relate to, and then they want to reach out to you and say, hey, I saw your story. I'm that person. You're in my mind. If someone can say that to you, you're doing a good job on your social media. You're in my mind. What do you got? What are you doing? How are you fixing this problem? If you're fixing problems, you're educating and entertaining, you're going to see a massive amount of attraction marketing coming your way that has nothing to do necessarily with this business, but they're going to be wondering what you're doing, and then they're going to be asking you, and you're going to go straight into the play that works and get into that conversation. Oh, great. Yeah. I know I used to not have energy and now I do. That's so awesome that, you've contacted me. Let me ask you, what do you know about ketones and ketosis? Then you go straight into it. Every single time you take what they say, relate, go straight into the play that works. So that's my 3 quick tips. And if you have any questions, you can reach out. But yes.
That was so good. Thank you. So you guys, seriously, find other people that are great at one of these environments and be a learner. Try it. Put yourself out there. Even if you spell "you're" wrong on it, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect to drink ketones. You can spell like a third grader. It's cool, but find people who are good at the walk and talk. Find people who are good at phone calls. They're always connecting you with new people because they're just talking to everyone out there. Don't get stuck in the mindset that you're not good at something like everyone else is. You go create the way at which you're good at it, and then come back and contribute to the community on what's working in your approaches and what feels good. Because I guarantee you there's about 50 other people that could do that really well, but they just didn't know that they could go do it that way. Be an innovator, be a creator, do whatever it takes to approach people to meet your outcome and your DMO. All right, tomorrow we'll meet back here for piece number 2, which is engage and mobilize. Go approach, and Brian would want me to lead with an action. So I have an idea. So, on your Facebook today, whatever type of approach you take, I want you to hashtag, take a picture of where you're at, whether it's the walk and talk, or maybe it's a screenshot of a text with someone, or maybe it's you on the phone, or maybe it's you making a social media post for attraction marketing. Whatever that picture is, hashtag your environment in which you're approaching. So it's either the text or the phone call, or hashtag walk and talk, hashtag social media. How about that? All right, don't get caught in a rut. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.